it's I think OG is just a better team, and I think that's kind of what you saw in this game too. And as long as they're not like completely outdrafted, like we saw like what KZ was able to do on the Broodmother, now compare it to Venomancer, it's just a world of difference. And yeah, OG's got the well, they did leave Brood again, so I'm curious if Viking GG will rush that hero into their draft here.
They could. We do have the Ancient Apparition banned out by OG for the first time. Still have the same bans going on for Viking, though, as the sides, once again, are also the same. We got Viking on that Radiant side and OG on the Dire side. Lina first pick on the side of OG. They, of course, went for the same thing in the first game where they paired it up with the Magnus, who's still in the pool. And Viking is actually taken into their bonus time now that they can't get the AAT.
Yeah, this is the...
Sorry. sorry. I was going to say,
go ahead.
I think with the AA band and the Timbersaw band, I think Dragon Knight becomes like a super valuable 2-3 pick. Just being able to flex it, it's almost like it's very similar to Axe this patch. Would you agree, T?
Yeah, you just kind of pick it in your draft and it's very confident, right? Like you don't feel bad. I think that's the thing about drafting, right? It's like if there's a hero that you can pick and you don't feel like, oh, but we have to ban this or we have to do this, that hero innately is very good in the draft. And it's like the DKs, these kind of, for OG, the Hoodwinks, Timber, AA, like all these heroes have that kind of value of just confidence when you enter that kind of second phase at least.
Yeah, and I think in this spot, in the 2-3 for the second pick team, if you can pick a support that could be played on 5 position or 4 position, the same idea as picking like a core that could play in either 1, 2, or 3. It allows you to keep your draft very flexible and open, and also like it's hard for your opponents to draft against it because they're not necessarily. I mean, they're trying to pick for their lanes, right? First pick often has like 2 counter picks usually, whereas second pick has the last pick. But it's just hard when you don't know exactly where people are going to end up going.
I'm a little worried about this bonus time. Yeah, this is like, oh, there we go. Okay,
there's
surprise,
it's
a lion.
Lion DK then? Lion Brood?
I prefer, when you go Lion, I feel like that's your disabled. That's your, that's your thing. I think you want to get more damage on top of it. So to me, like DK and Axe are almost like, I don't know, Axe is a special hero.
You don't want to see it again?
Good. No, I think it's fine. I mean, I would. This is for TI, right? Like you bring your best, and Axe is certainly a hero this patch for sure.
But this is the importance of this game for Viking. It's like they go for the DK. It's the fact that they're a team who has gone from nothing to now being in TI qualifiers, and they have to kind of prove that they can adapt over a series. The biggest shortcoming of the team so far throughout DPC online tournaments is they're unable to kind of always kind of connect the dots quick enough to then overwhelm their opponents. I feel like this game, TI qualifier, upper bracket, they want to hold the upper bracket spot. They're going to need to kind of take a read on how they lost to OG. Because like when you lose game 1, you adapt, you improve, you go to game 2. That's what OG did. Losing game 2, same thing. You give away the Alk again, like you see what's coming. This is where it really shows if Viking are able to, on the fly during a series, understand why they lost quickly within the 20-minute break, and then instantly come back with a good response.
And I think that's what separates a lot of these, pretty good teams to like the really good teams that have like Puppy, Kuro, and No-Tail and stuff.
Exactly.
Is like their experience as captains and leaders and being able to adapt and improvise on the fly, gives them this advantage in game 2s and game 3s, especially.
It's scary, honestly. Like you'd think it's pretty easy. Like if you have a game plan going into game 1, like we can copy paste that formula or that draft style going to 2, 3, whatever. Like we're good for the entire series. No, like after game 1, your entire cleanly written out notes. They banned this, we picked this, bam, out the window. You got to really like. There's some like kind of things that I kept the same, but it's very difficult to really prepare for the entirety of a series.
Do you think it's helping? Peter, do you think it helps for Viking? Because they don't do the drafting themselves. Their coach is doing the drafting, Immortal Faith. Do you think that's a thing that helps? Because as T says, you only have 20 minutes. Otherwise, Immortal Faith has been able to see the whole game play out. It has maybe got a bit of a different read than if he actually played the game.
It depends. I feel like in the middle of a series, like T was saying, like it's very on the fly. Like you're always adapting, and your plan before the series is probably completely different going into this game 3. And I also think that like preparing for matches and stuff it's a little bit overrated. I think what it does actually is give the team confidence that their ideas are strong and thought out. And it really just gives like the team the right attitude going into the series, at least with the draft. And they all know that they need to, be adaptable. You can't just say like, I'm going to pick these 5 heroes and we'll play.
It's just about confidence, right? Like you want to be able to get everyone understanding what you want to bring to the game, so that when you get into the game, it's like you're not having these questions. Like that's already ironed out. So yeah, I like the fact that so far with Vikings draft, they know the Yak was coming. They're now second phase. They're banning out what they think right now are going to be the pairings. Like they most likely won't ban Monkey King unless they have some, maybe they've seen it in a scrim or something. But Gyro and Medusa, they're the top two. I'm trying to think what that third Ags
Bristle,
hero would
man.
be.
It's Bristle. That hero is
Bristle
crazy.
vibes. That's true. That hero is so obnoxious, especially with the AA and Timber banned out. But whew, they banned out TB instead.
They could still go for the Bristle if they really wanted to. Previous game we had Viking in this phase also banning out the Void Spirit and the Monkey King as two targets that OG has used in the past for that first Ags from the offlane Alchemist. So those are still in the pool as well.
Again, PPD just said Bristle, and in my mind, I'm just picturing like one more weak hero from Viking. No, but like, I just really want to see like a Thompson Bristle for some random reason run. Like, again, support player. A Baden. Like, how confident do you feel when there's like you're playing a Baden and they're running at you? Like, how good do you really feel?
It's a matchup that goes both ways, but the low armor and AoE damage from the Quill Spray can be difficult for a Baden to deal with. But you can remove Goose Stacks, and
that's true.
You're a bit of a hard kill for Bristle at times, but not always. And I'm not saying that they're going to pick it. I just think the hero, I think the Ags on the hero is like really strong. Like you basically hit like, what you just go Hood into like Eternal Shroud on Bristle, and then you get in Ags, and then it's like that timing. I think it's just way too strong. Like you basically just invade the enemy team's Ancients, and they're just forced to split push and play side lanes for like the next 10 minutes.
What's the hero with the Baden?
Probably ranged hero. They could do. I mean, they could do DP safely, but I wouldn't suggest it. Probably some. I mean, they're gonna last pick. Hopefully. I mean, they know the Alchemist is in the offlane, which is kind of surprising for them to wait on it. But they could do like a mid carry. TA's banned, Invoker's banned, Lena's taken. Those are the popular ones at the major.
Like, I'm looking at Vikings' previous drafts, and it's the idea their Baden has often been paired with like Spectre, like Lifestealer, like not these generic cores that you'd feel would be enabled by the Baden, but it's the mid lane is really being propped up. It's the Leshraks, the DPs. So I'm just trying to think like maybe the Shad will go for. Okay, they have to ban Spectre if you're OG. I feel right now, just for the fact that it's too good of a game for that hero.
Solid ban. Drow's a good pick.
Ags on Drow though, that's the one where you attack, you stack up your frost charges, right?
I have no idea what Drow's Ags does.
Yeah, I think is it still is that the shard though? You know what? Luckily we're at home, right? We can just Google this.
Thank you.
I got you. No, I'm just gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, you work on that.
Or is it the split shot still? I mean, I think
I'm sure it's still the split shot, right? That was a great panel segment, guys. Moving on.
No, it's fine. Alchemist doesn't necessarily even have to go this like early Ags. Like we saw him in the last game, he got the pipe. Like this would be a great game to get a Solar Crest, I think, and he can just be like utility. I think the hero itself is not that weak. We saw it do very, very well in lane last game, and I think OG's kind of made the shift, right? Seb always plays these sort of like very selfless heroes, like the Mag Empower, the Alchemist in the last game. I think they've identified that the Alchemist maybe works better for them, or maybe it's just a stronger lane, which I would agree. I think Magnus is more of a mid/carry. If you're who was the Southeast Asian team that played? Was it TNC was playing the carry mag for Gabby?
Yeah, the mid.
Yeah.
That was pretty strong, I think.
With my intensive research, it is just split shot on the Ags. It's the shard that does all the frost stuff.
Is it OP
There's also
though?
still.
Is it OP?
Nah.
Is it good?
No.
There's also still heroes in the pool that Thompson would take mid that you could get an early Ags on. Void Spirit, of course, comes to mind.
Nah, Bristleback for sure. No, they probably won't do
I'd
it.
still be down for it. You get it on a frontliner. I mean, when you're playing Drow, you kind of you don't have a frontliner in the Alchemist, right? Because he's
this
not
is OG. It could be Drow mid.
Actually, that's a good. That's it. It's just Drow mid, surely, because like during DBC, Thompson had that fixation on Dragonlance for a small period of time, and that was Drow mid. So yeah, good call. Yeah, most likely would just be that, right?
It could be either. I could see Sumail playing it. I could see Thompson playing. I really don't know what they'll go with their last hero.
Is Lesh still available? Yeah. They could still just go for like a Lesh carry, Drow mid, and that kind of overwhelming run at you style. Sure. More utility Alch, less Ags. Because like, you don't have to go for Ags on Alchemist, but you probably want to slot it in somewhere on one hero at least.
What do we want to see from Viking? Their last hero. They're still quite a bit open, but I think we don't have Shad's hero yet.
Yeah.
We need to know what OG's doing first, right? Like, they have this pick. We need to know, like, is it mid-drow? Is it going to be an additional carry? Like, what's the situation? Like, Spectre, for example, is still available. So they go for a Razor. Razor Axe?
It'll be... Yeah, I mean, Razor Axe is pretty good. So it could be Razor or Drow in the safe lane or mid, depending on where Viking GG decides to put the Dragon Knight.
Yep.
And obviously, like, you want the Razor versus the offlane DK, the Razor mid versus the DK, or Razor versus DK and Drow versus DP, I think is most ideal.
And they just go for the Spectre. Yeah.
All right. Well, we saw that one coming.
This is like one of those picks where it secures you your later portion of the game, but we saw this in the first series, Smashes v Enigma, game 3, where it's like you have this draft that scales okay, but like you just can't really get there. And I feel like this is maybe what happens again with OG, because you're going to have a decent Razor time, this Drow will have a free time landing into DK, and they're going to group up quite cleanly. So maybe we see a repeat of game 2, or Viking can hold out with their discipline.
Let's go for it.
No, I was saying I see a repeat of game 2 as well. I feel like Sumail is going to free farm from beginning to end. And I feel like Vikings draft it's kind of going in two directions. It's like momentum push, right, with DK, Bad, and Death Prophet. But okay, no, we're going to sit back and wait for Haunt. You know,
I just don't see it working for Viking? Well, is there one key timing that you're looking for?
The real question: who's going to suck more, a mid lane, the Razor or the DP?
Yeah, I think it's going to be battle of mid lane once again. The Spectre's first Haunt, 10-minute catapult. Are they able to take a tower? Are they able to, break the dire ancients? Is the Dusa gonna free farm again, which is
take towers, right? You have DK, you have DP. Take these early towers, mitigate that early jungle. Spectre can then buy enough time to come online. But yeah, Viking, they just need to be a bit more proactive. Get Kezu into the game. Don't just kind of put him on an island that was this kind of Veno from game 2.
All right, well, let's find out what's gonna happen in this exciting game 3. We're heading over to our commentary team of ODPixel and Fogged.
Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, this is all very important. Game 3 now between OG and Viking. Fog, what do we make of it? Sort of the panel touched upon Viking. They've got the big old Spectre ready for the late game. They have got a lot of timings that they are going to have to be playing around and sort of very much staggering their approaches at the objectives in comparison to the pace and frequency that the OG can bring fights in. Do you like it here, or are you a little concerned against OG with sort of, as PPD said, the strength of Sumail on the Drow Ranger and his ability to carry?
Looks like OG this time they've gone for more like this like laning domination, right? Into just like grouping up and going together. While I feel like for Viking it's a lot of like team fight, but then also it has like the Spectre factor coming just to counteract the Drow. So it's I kind of agree with Peter. It's a little bit of a mixed elements. I could see Vikings draft working, but I could also see them potentially just getting like 10 minutes where the lanes they're not active in the first 10-15 minutes, and then I feel like OG just farms the whole map and they're just going to have the super farm Drow Ranger that might not be addressed unless like these perfect haunts come out. So I'm a bit concerned for Viking, because they also have to think about their lineup is also needs to walk directly in, right? Like wrapping around on the back and stuff like that can be a little bit difficult until you do have, let's say, like the blink on DK or Lion, or you use the haunt exactly that to get to the back of the false promise and stuff, where I feel like OG's draft is like pretty fine with that. That's kind of how they want to play into this draft. Like they're just going to be like, okay, you want to run into us? That means I'm going to get a full link off. That means I'm going to be able to set up my positioning for my Drow Ranger. And this Death Prophet's going to have to run through everything to try to find the backline. So it just feels like it's a bit difficult for Viking when they don't have that vision aspect, or when they don't have those key initiating blinks.
I see. Well, we do know that the play, it certainly is there for Viking from what we saw in their first game. Playing very, very well in the opening against OG. Last game, very much was sort of Sumail popping off, having the space to pop off, thanks to the rest of the squad and the draft that OG got through against Vikings lineup. We'll see how things play out here in this game through, with both teams taking a bit of a different turn with their drafts.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see how Spectre's going to do versus this Alchemist Lina, because this is pretty similar to the Alchemist Lion. Sure, Lina can't set up for your stuns as easy, but now that it's so massive, it is kind of easy anyway. But there's going to be heals. There's always going to be like massive amounts of counteracting heals coming out from Celery onto the Spectre. And of course, we're going to have Dispersion skilled up, which is going to reflect a decent amount and just keep Shad healthy. So let's see if Shad gets more secured farm, because I think both games he was slowed down a bit as the Axe in the safe lane. I think as the Spectre, he should have a better time.
Let's have a look, especially with the backup of Celery.
Yeah, we'll see, though. We will see.
Some sustain and save. Well, looking at the other matchups, the mid lane, DP against Razor. I mean, all in all, is it easier for Boom to sort of flash farm the mid? You know, his new compared to what Thompson's going to be able to burst with the plasma field, and the fact that Thompson's just not going to have a chance to utilize the static link in the lane.
I'd say it's DP favored, yeah. Not massively, but it's definitely DP favored.
Yeah, both
you have the movement speed too. That's the thing, is you have 30 move speed. So the thing about Razor is you want to be able to get at least like a small instance of link off.
Yeah,
it can be tough versus a Death Prop. But if she rushes boots too, which I mean I assume Boom probably won't. He probably still will just go like bottle or just null or something like that. But either way, it's going to be hard for Thompson to get those links.
And how are things for pressure on Sumail on the top lane to start off with this duo? You know, you see this Lion and DK and feel that they're going to be able to mess with the Drow on the early levels?
I'm waiting to see what Kezu skills for. Let's see if he does go for Breathe Fire, because Breathe Fire does make it a little annoying, just like slowing down your CS because of the damage reduction, but I feel like Sumail should be pretty decent with double ranged versus this DK Lion.
Quite a bit of damage there, walking past the two of them.
Sure did.
Having a regen in this lane. Yeah, Celery's fully kitted out and regen, so
yeah.
he's going to have a fair bit to keep Shad staying in the lane nice and strong and give Shad his best efforts at getting the CS against the pressure of Saxter and Seb early on.
Yeah, let's see if Shad can actually get anything down here. Right now it's just 1-1. Yeah. So he hasn't gotten much of any last hits. Celery also getting pressured really hard, so they're never going to be able to slow down Seb is the other awkward thing too. So it's pretty tough lane really for Viking. I thought maybe the Spectre could hold off a little better because he's got 8 armor under tower, but yeah, still too annoying. Aramis top. He's the one who has to watch out with his positioning on the line. Kezu should never die. I mean, I don't think he ever will either up here, unless it's a third hero. But Aramis, he could get brought down pretty easy as soon as they hit 2 on OG.
Absolutely. Let's look to make the pull across here. We'll be able to grab the wave. This will help shift things back in sort of Vikings' favour when it comes to momentum. A little tricky for No Telling Sumail to really get over and do anything about that.
And Boom going for the bottle. He actually gets linked up 39 damage right there. And now you see the Razors winning in the last hits in mid because he gets that 39 damage. He gets 4 denies because of it. So yeah, Boom, maybe just rushing for that bottle. You know why you want it, but at the same time, like these matchups, it is very important to always remember just these little type of counteract things. So that might hurt him in these next few waves.
And you imagine, you know, from Seb, you know, because of the fact that you do want to sort of make sure that Sumail has the best game possible, you again do just get that Axe as the first major item for the ALK, or is it not quite as important this game to rush it?
I thought last game he was actually going to hold off on it a little bit more, so yeah. I think this one it's even more so that he should rush it, yeah, versus for the Drow, just to protect versus this Spectre. It also does increase the farm potential a lot of a Drow Ranger. That Aghanim, the split shot is really nice, actually.
Oh, it really does. Lane-wise, you know, this game for Sumail definitely off to a bit of a slower start. Kezu and Aramis. But actually get the setup onto No-Tail, straight over towards the back lines. They find themselves the kill. Kezu burning down No-Tail for the first blood. Sumail trying to take Aramis out. Return Aramis is going to have to stun back up. And Sumail, he will get the kill, has got a Fairy Fire also. So he's able to step out back to the safety of his tower. Some action kicking off indeed on that top lane. And as we're certainly seeing, whatever happens, you know, with these two duos clashing heads, yeah, Kezu, he's going to pretty much walk out of everything at full HP as this DK. He's never going to be under any sort of danger or heat from these two heroes alone.
Yeah, he just needs to make sure he always has mana so they can look to turn for those aggressive plays, potentially maybe going for like a Soul Ring early on since he does have that Ring of Protection.
Yeah.
Could look to help, but they've slowed down Sumail decently. You know, he's 14 last hits. He's doing better than the Spectre, though, which is pretty big.
That's true. Shad definitely having the tougher time as we have come to see from him, you know, each game really this series, Seb and Saxer, not making things easy for Shad on the first few waves of the game.
No, and look at Chad again. Like, he is just getting hit and hit and hit, and that was without even an acid spray being thrown down from Seb.
On top, No-Tail.
No-Tail again.
Not a whole lot he can do apart from maybe look for a deny to the creeps, and he will get it. Okay. Creeps take him out. Kills himself to the stack.
He's pulling at least some aggression off of Sumail, but they actually get the pull off up here now too. So full wave is going to get denied away from Sumail, and he will have a slow start. But again, I mean, Shad, he's gotten 0 CS in the time that Sumail just got 7. I'm watching Sox and Seb just every time he even walks up for a range creep, acid sprays down, and he potentially just gets stunned up. So Celery has to secure range creeps with a miscoil down here. He's at 5 last hits.
I mean, it really is just going to be such a slow game for Shad. I mean, last 2 games, he's on the axe. No, sure, Spectre at a certain point with the levels, you're able to pretty safely hit the neutrals with the dispersion leveled up, but it's not going to be at the same sort of catch-up pace as he was able to achieve playing the carry axe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Thompson, he's come out ahead in the lane. You know, these 12 denies, they'll definitely add up.
Yeah.
Got the boots in the bottle super early on. We saw Boom, he delayed his boots a little bit, and it definitely hurt Thompson. In a very comfortable spot, Aramis looking to make a move perhaps to slow that down. Also, we have level 6 online, so Exorcism plus Catapult Wave. This could be huge if they can get onto Thompson. And they know Kezu's safe up top. Versus the 2 heroes, he should just be fine. And here we go.
Straight in. Get the wraparound set up onto Thompson. TP's coming in to try and help out the Razor. Saxa catch Aramis here with the stun. Thompson, he's got the movement speed to get out across the trees. They won't be able to finish Thompson off as Thompson's able to start bottling back up. Boom, Aramis, and Celery have to be a little careful even with the Exorcism out. All 3 of them rather low on the HP and the mana.
And the thing is, too, like, they went before the enemy siege creep had died already, so their siege is now just going to walk into tower and die, and they got pretty much 0 damage on tower with that Exorcism. Instead of going for the kill there, I think if they were a little bit more patient, they just go for tower push.
And now
As now Celery.
He's going to be able to get himself a freebie, catching Celery in the river. Thompson's able to swing back in, get the kill. As you say, you look at the tower, only about 200 damage done there off that first usage of the Exorcism. And when you do have this DP and DK in a game where you've got to try and keep the pressure on as these 2 cores and take attention away from the Spectre, if you're not taking the early towers, the plan's going to be harder and harder for Viking to execute.
I think they just jumped the gun. I think they were just like so keen on going for the kill that they were just like, wait, we didn't do it the normal approach where you just wait till the siege dies, you have your siege advantage, then you push with a tower with your actual creep wave going. But yeah, they just go for the kill and they end up getting nothing out of it. That was a pretty big loss too for Viking. I feel like OG has to be very happy. Now they get a ward down 2 for that next rotation, so when they go for doing that again, it's going to be spotted. And they're starting to get stacks started, so pretty big for OG at this last movement. May seem small, but it's quite massive when we're talking about how they have to play with their DK and their Death Prophet Exorcism at its maximum in this game so that they don't just get out-farmed again, like Game 2.
Stage is hit. Sepp is off to the safety of the jungle.
Yep.
Clearing through the stacks. And on track to once again get a very good Axe Rush timing for Samael.
And they are protected. They've got so many wards down in the area now to protect Seb. Just because they saw that first push coming the way Vikings set up for it, now they know. This is like immediately like, stuck in their minds. So, okay, they're going to go for another pressure play.
I mean, now they've got 6 hit. They feel that they're going to have good damage to try and push Kezu back, at least force him to pop out of the lane, or at least keep it to the tower.
Okay. Celery tries to walk in. I think, was he like, trying to ward or something? I'm not sure. He was trying to do something there, but Thompson just swings over for a second, stops him from going toward anything to slow down Seb's Alchemist, who already has 2 components done, Owen.
He's in the timings and poor attention thrown the way of Thompson, but not quite able to get a catch on him. Thompson just keeping himself at a safe distance. We'll see what Boom does now. Exorcism ready to go again. It's got to achieve more than it did the first time round.
They're going to be ready, though. Like, OG's going to be so ready for this movement. The D-Ward's going to come out from Aramis to level 3 Lion, level 4 Abaddon. How's the supports on OG looking? 4 and 5, almost 6 on the Lina. So they're getting much more out of the map because Viking supports are just sitting there. They're sitting there waiting for the opportunity to go for this Exorcism push. But OG's like, okay, you guys play your game, which is kind of doing nothing at this point, and we'll play ours of farming efficiently with our stacks.
And efficiently, they will, at least much more efficiently than Shad's able to do so in return.
Yeah.
It's going to take him a long time, even with the Blade Mail Rush. Just unable to really clear through camps and neutrals at a pace that's comparable to that of this.
And he doesn't...
Drow, and a Drow that is going to be handed an Aghanim Scepter within the minute. Just 500 gold away from itself.
And it's the Blade Mail Spectre where sometimes you can go to like Ancients and you can clear out Ancients. He doesn't have Ancient stack. He has 1 Ancient. And then he has a triple Heart Camp, which sure, he can work through that one. But as you mentioned, this Drow's already going to have Ags. And he's got Ancient stacks prepared for him too. Only 1 or 2, but...
I mean, it may be some sort of change up in the heroes, but...
Feels similar.
This is looking to be a bit of a repeat of what sort of direction the OG took towards the success they found in Game 2.
And it feels like they're getting even, I want to say even more farm. Like, I'm watching Saksa for the last 3 minutes just be bottom by himself. He's just in he's like a 4 position who's a 3 almost at this point now because Seb's just jungling. They're not getting any pressure on them, and this has to be concerning for Viking. They get the top tower with Kezu. Mid tower though is only missing 240 HP when you have a Death Prophet.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They're just maybe missing that early timing, that one opportunity that they had with the first ult. Not quite waiting for things to slide into place as they needed to do so, and now
Ags is
Viking
online.
just being in sort of an awkward position. Now, who can they make the moves around here? Kezu, he's playing towards his Blink Dagger, 1,300 gold in towards it.
Not bad.
Boom. It's very hard for him to find a chance, as you say, because OG will be prepared to hold on to this tier 1 tower mid. Even Sumail turning up to farm this mid lane, they're that confident that they can keep such a firm, safe hold of this area still at 10 minutes in.
And look at the Drow's HP. It's like, you look at the heroes on Viking, you're like, oh, they have decent burst damage with Finger, Breathe Fire, Dagger, etc. Now he's got a free Aghanim, so on Strength Shreds, he's 1,700 HP. It's like not even a Drow Ranger anymore at this point, who was just sitting at 800 HP before this, or 900 HP on Agi Treads.
Yeah, and your biggest burst really is the Finger. Other than that,
It is the Finger.
It's going to rely on Viking being able to stay on top of the Drow. You know, Drow, Sumail, he's got the best save in the game. He's going to have No-Tail behind him. No-Tail's hit the 6. It's not easy to get on top of Sumail's Drow. No-Tail is going to be able to do a solid job of saving him. As you mentioned at the start, there isn't a hero like that Clockwork that was so crucial for Viking in terms of catching No-Tail in game 1. Mid lane, look at the setup onto Aramis. They're going to come up with the Horde, look towards Saxa. Saxa caught in the river, but the false promise comes out. Saxa will live a little longer. He's going to look for the TP back to base. He's back into the fountain. Shad's going to end up getting taken down as OG just kite him up. Sumail stands on the high ground, take him out. 3 heroes dead. That was in another attempt with the Exorcism. I mean, and an attempt that just falls flat on its face here from Viking. Game 2, like, that started to look pretty much impossible for Viking at the 20 or so minute mark. Already 12 minutes in, it really does feel like the plan that Viking came into this match with has sort of been lost completely.
Absolutely. They couldn't even kill the Lina Owen. The false promise saves Saxa. Yeah. He gets back to, he gets back. Sumail shows up. They don't even have everybody there. They only have like 3-4 heroes. Thompson comes in at the end just for a swing around to clean up 7,000 gold lead 12 minutes. I mean, this is pretty ridiculous. You have, like we said, they have like good burst spells, but they couldn't kill anybody there. And this is a very low level of Abaddon now, level 5, as we've said. You know, the support's struggling, and everyone on Viking struggling now.
Even with, you know, the factor of the Alchemist, it's still, you know, pretty insane to see just the number of Sumail's net worth, the same net worth as 2 cores of Viking put together at this very early timing of 12 minutes in. He is just having a great time, and already, you know, early days in the qualifier, first series for these 2 teams, but I think a lot of the squads will be watching this from OG, and, you know, this whole idea, you know, Seb on the Alk, getting that early ags towards Sumail. You've got to wonder, how many times are we going to see this? How many times are we going to see this get let through? Is this something that teams are going to feel they have to take away from OG? Because the 2 games we've seen it so far, it's looking pretty simple for OG.
Agreed. I think they definitely have to have thought of something else there, especially if they didn't, with the AA axe, if they weren't able to deal with it, and then they left it again this time, you know, it's a concern. 9k lead, OG getting to do pretty much whatever they want on the map. See, I don't know the timing here for Viking is the scary. I think the timing really is, I think you already missed, you missed your big timings. You had to get these like early tier 1s set up when you could go with your team, but now you're so far behind. And Chad just has nowhere to farm now. That was your first haunt usage, and you got completely smashed earlier.
Yeah, the haunts, the exorcisms, they've just not been cutting it here for Viking.
Okay, so blink on DK. So they got to go again. Like, you can't just sit back. The thing is, you have to make these moves happen anyway on Viking. Even though it didn't work this last time, I think you have to smoke, try to get on No-Tail with this blink on Kezu, and then go for the rest of the targets. As Celery just is dead.
Yep, Sumail's pretty much level 12, so the damage from him is going to be pretty outrageous, hitting these early levels at just at the 14 minutes. And still, as you say, when is this Spectre going to be a threat? You know, what is Shad going to be able to offer?
No-Tail?
Against a team so far? All right, well, that's a free one.
He was on the enemy high. He was in the trees in the enemy high. Right. He just last hit a range creep and then just got jumped. As Kezu, though.
He's ready with the buyback. He's going to come with the buyback. They've got the concoction down on Kezu. It certainly looks to be it. The gust comes out onto Aramis. Seb not going to actually have the damage there to finish off the Lion, so Bait them won't grant them any instant kills. Thompson does still manage to sweep him from the side. They will get Aramis. Thompson, he's even looking to dive in for more. He's got the link in onto Celery. He will back off with the fortification pop. The damage from the tower starting to kick in. As Thompson steps away. Not looking to make the mistakes that were made in the first game of the series.
That was the DK form and the exorcism pop though, and they can't touch the tower again. And straight into the Roche bit OG. Now there's no ults. They only have a haunt available. There's no way Viking can fight this again.
Yeah, I guess that was the plan from No Tail all along.
He'll tell you that. I mean, I think he just walked up and tried to last hit a range creep with Purifying Flames and got caught, but it ends up working out for them.
There we go. Aegis on some out. Even if you are able to get on top of this drought, you got to deal with him twice. It's not going to be easy at all.
No. And Sab even buys another early game item. He buys them a drum. So they're even stronger when they are as this unit. And Viking, yeah, they need to, let's see what level our Death Prophet is actually. So Boom, I feel like hit level 12. And then your level 2 Exorcism could still do decent damage, but you have to get these jumps. It's just not easy when they're all so tanky now. 2,200 HP on Thompson plus Sab also tanky. Like, everyone's just so tanky.
Yeah.
At least the main targets, the ones that you have to get through, because you can't get into these backline squishies. Only the Spectre can. And Shad is not at a point where he wants to really jump into the backline by himself.
No, he needs time. Yeah, at least until he has the Manta, then he has a potential to getting in with the illusions, maybe threatening one of the lives of the separated supports. Until that item's done. Actually, even swapping it up, going maybe the way of the Echo Saber, and he will invest in this. I mean, something that we are seeing on some of these carries nowadays.
Okay.
I mean, I like it. I'm obviously terrible at the game, but I do like this build myself. He probably feels that he's going for this because there is pressure. He knows that he's going to have to do something pretty soon.
He has to fight soon. Yeah, I think
you know
that's
what I mean? The Echo Saber gives you that quick stats. It's obviously going to be a much easier, quicker pickup than him waiting for the full Manta style.
It's like one of the most valuable item pickups in the game now, period, on these melee heroes. That just, you need HP, you need some mana regen, here you go. Like that's why it's so popular in Slark before, and then people, I guess, just started realizing how good the item really is, right? Just gives you 5 extra strength. It gives you so much extra just out of picking it up. Double hit is no joke with Desolate either.
Absolutely not.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Tier 2 taken out, Outpost getting claimed. 50, dude, the gold lead is getting it's getting too big too fast. He's almost worth 3 heroes now, Owen.
Yeah, this is so Mel, he's definitely been enjoying the last 2 games of this series. He would be, I'm sure he's looking forward to more games, more drafts from the squad that's going to enable him to play as he is. Just be this incredible beast of a carry that good luck getting anywhere close to. And keeping up with. You're just not going to be able to do so.
Soxa was thinking about going for him down bottom. Oh, of course, yeah, the prophecy, the Grove Bow for the Drow. Why not? Insult to injury for poor Viking. Kazu getting some damage on tier 2.
And they're sweeping up. They know that some of Vikings up and not the full squad. Just the 3 of them. Boom, Aramis, and Kazu. See how carefully they keep themselves hidden. Seb, he's ready to charge in. He's in. Jump forwards, look towards Aramis. They are able to tank at the stun off, so Seb won't be able to throw out the concoction. They are still able to catch Aramis within the AoE, though, as Aramis will try his best to hide into the trees. Kezu's going to look for the TP out. Is he able to get out in time? He is. Not quite enough damage to bring down Kezu, as Kezu will escape. Aramis, on the other hand, will not. They take down the Lion. Kezu manages to live another day here.
Meanwhile, Thompson doing his own thing, as usual. In the mid lane, diving into Baden. And Aramis just can't find anything in this game, right? No space for this Lion. 500 away from the Blink Dagger. Desperately needing that too, so they can have the ways to jump into backline together, collectively, with that Spectre and DK and Lion. Yeah, OG just continues to have all this control. It's really just Shad getting farm, and it's a huge concern when your Death Prophet's not able to keep getting this scale and going, sure, she's got plate mail, sure, she's got Yules, and sure, she does have a save behind her, but it's not going to help that much versus all this crazy damage that the Drow's starting to build up so quickly.
What do Viking do? Just posturing around, Boom. Maybe see if they can catch out OG making any aggressive mistakes, but sort of the extensions of game 1 that OG made that did lead to the fall of them later in the game. That's just not sort of happened in the second or third of this series. OG very much bringing out a much more serious, refined style of Dota that's looking very hard for Viking to crack.
They're kind of splitting up, though, a bit on OG. I do feel like Viking could punish a little bit when they do see like everyone on the map. Like they just saw 3 heroes showing, but
I mean, look
let's see
at
if they
Thompson.
can.
See if they can do it. In with the finger, but the false promise comes out.
There.
Thompson is going to be able to get out to the side. Seb's heading over as well. No tail. Actually going to be able to be saved here by the Gust coming out onto Shad, and they're ready to turn. Thompson pretty much back up to full HP. They've controlled Boom. The DP is gone as they save Thompson even like that. As you said, that sort of one chance where maybe they catch a member of OG out on their own. They could not quite do it. They just do not have the firepower.
I'm glad they at least tried for it. I think if they were a little bit quicker when they noticed that everybody was split up, because I think the ward that they have in the OG jungle, it saw the Lina for a second, and I think they saw like the Alchemist for a sec. That's why they go for this jump, but I think they hesitated a little bit too much. No-Tail, he saw it coming too. Gets the TP off. It was clutch by No-Tail, but yeah, game continues to just be pretty much impossible for poor Viking. That's all their ults for the 3rd time expended, and they can pretty much get nothing out of it again.
And back to the high ground, back to the base here for Viking. As OG take complete control of the map.
They're in just complete mode chill. It's almost satanic on Thompson. Seb has almost got the next Ags done. Everyone's just chilling. I mean, it is 2-9. It is 22,000 gold lead. We do have that 1K per minute that has been hit, which is usually the signs of GG.
That's some pretty insane numbers indeed. I mean, it's Sumail very much the sort of the core player, the carry player that, you know, this is kind of how you expect things to go when you involve Sumail in a situation where there's the mechanic of him getting this Aghanims given to him so early. You know, already Sumail, now he'll pop off and be a beast from the carry position without that. You give him that sort of extra benefit, and good luck dealing with the man. He's going to become a right terror, and he certainly has here 2 games in a row now.
All on ranged heroes, too, I noticed. I'm going to start watching out to see how much Sumail does play these melee heroes, because I was watching on some of his pubs, too. He's like playing like the Tower Blades, the range carries. He's mostly just a ranged player, it feels like. I think Sox is having the funnest game. This is probably like the funnest 4-position game ever. You literally have like no weight on your shoulders at all. You're just farming. You're just farming, playing your own game. No worries.
It's pretty much same net worth here as Kezu.
Yep.
As you said, definitely becoming sort of an extra 3 here for the side of OG.
Vikings looking to hit though. They're identifying that OG's just starting to split up everywhere, trying to punish it.
I mean, they smoke up there, but a little bit of an unfortunate reveal as Aramis does make a Hex move onto the illusion of Sumail, so OG's going to be pretty much aware that the Vikings looking for action. Maybe not aware enough, though. Sumail. He's quick with the Gust. They do still get him with the Dragon Tail stun. See if there's going to be any backup in time for Sumail. There isn't. They get on top of the Drow. They bring him down. See if they can get more out of this. They turn over towards Thompson. Thompson just frontlining it, but the damage is too high. He charges straight back in. And just like that, Viking, against a 20k gold lead of OG, they've just taken down 2 cores plus No-Tail. I mean, against the odds here, Viking showing they've still got it to tackle OG despite the strength of their cores. Mispositioning, costing OG everything there, as maybe Viking can still pull something out against this incredible lead that OG has had for the first 20 minutes of the game.
They're gonna need that quite a few more times, but I'm so happy. Like I'm like asking for it, right? Like they got to make a move when everyone's split up like that, and they do. They find the perfect catch, and then I think Thompson, he ran in because he popped Satanic and he ran to try to get to No-Tail, but he got blocked and just got shredded by Exorcism. So that'll happen as a good move from Viking and much needed space for Shad, as nearly has Manta done and does need quite a lot more.
All right, definitely, you know, the game spicing up a little bit there. I think OG, I guess as well, with the sort of the relaxed positioning they had there between their players, their heroes, and they probably felt that the game was incredibly, you know, in an incredibly comfortable position. With the lead that they have, it's still it is rather comfortable.
It is still.
But definitely shaken up a little bit there, and having to maybe give a bit more respect to what Viking can still do, despite the heavy gold deficit that they're playing with.
And maybe not showing like three different lanes when the ultis are up. I think that's the biggest thing. Is like the Viking cooldowns are pretty long, so as long as you're not split up on that timing of when they're all up, you should be pretty okay on OG. It's only if you get caught out when everything is up, as they quickly eviscerate a Roche. That's going to be the Berserk Potion, I believe, for the Alchemist, and also the Shard taken for the Drow.
They're ready to get themselves back in action. Celery borrowed time still on cooldown. Is he about and gone? See how much OG want to push the aggression now that they have the rewards of Roshan. Samel ready to come barreling straight down the mid lane. See if they want to try and approach the high ground.
It's definitely time to approach high ground. Ult's still on cooldown for a slight moment. I think Haunty at 20 seconds. They have the Ags as well on this Razor, so he can pop out that ulti as soon as this tower goes down to go for the Raxes if he'd like to. And Seb is always sitting behind with that Berserk Potion. So 2 different forms of save now on the side of OG. Massive wraparound. Look at Viking right now.
It was these sort of moves that did hit the hardest in game 1.
They're pinging No-Tail. They know his positioning, even though he's shadow emulated right now.
Let's see what they can do. They come out with the horn, look towards him straight away. They get the jump in over towards No-Tail. No-Tail, he's going to be able to be pushed over to the side. No-Tail will survive here, but they have brought down Samel the once. They'll try and surround him. Boom, coming in with the BKBs. Got the siphons as well, healing himself back up. No-Tail with the self-false promise will live a little longer. The buyback coming out as Aramis. He's able to lead in onto Samel with the stun. Shad getting beat down hard here by Saxa though, as Shad has to retreat up to the high ground. Samel's able to turn, take out Aramis. The light strike away from Saxa catches the 2 of them. 4 dead on Viking. As 3 of them without buyback. OG, they can push on, start to do the damage to the base. They should and can look to close this. Onto the tier 4s. Viking without the buybacks. Very little to be done about this. If they tried their best to hit back whilst they were as far behind as they were, it just didn't come close to mattering whatsoever, as OG able to still finish them off here at the fast timing of 27 minutes. Low kills but high farm and a very high lead here for OG. 32k lead they end it with. As with that, the series is theirs. OG, they'll be taking this best of 3, 2-1 against Viking.